Hey guys, today we're going to talk about something that not everybody does. We're going to talk about loading and clearing a firearm. Or rather, clearing and then loading. Stay tuned. Alright guys, what I have in front of me is my SIG M17. It has an external safety on it. And it has already been cleared. But I'm going to show you the clearing procedures that we use in Special Forces. And this is what I suggest that you use, okay? The first thing you got to do is attempt to put on safe. So some firearms you can't put on safe, like the 1911, but and then some firearms doesn't have an external safety. But you want to get it in your head to attempt to put on safe. All right. Now the next thing is you want to remove the source of feed. Right. It would be a magazine in this case. It could be a belt or something of that nature, but in this case it's a magazine. So you're going to remove the source of feed or magazine. And then you want to lock the action to the rear. So if you see this little lever, this is a slide stop, and some people call it a slide release. You want to push that up towards the top of the slide and then pull the slide back. Notice I pushed up, pulled the slide back, and then once it was locked into place, I released it. Now the next thing you want to do is you want to inspect the chamber. I don't know if you guys can see the chamber. I can. The slide face, which is where the round would sit, or the cartridge would sit, and the magazine well. Okay, there's a 3-point safety check. Chamber, slide face, magazine well. After you know that it's clear of debris, parts, so on and so forth, then you allow the action to go forward. You point in the safe direction, and you would dry press the trigger. Why am I dry pressing the trigger? Because this particular firearm is a single action. When I go to store it, I don't want the striker to be under spring tension. What I want to do to load it, I want to clear the firearm up until this point. And I'm going to check the chamber, the slide face, and the magazine well. Again, yes, I'm going to do it again. Why? Because it's free chicken. I get to do it again. I get another rep. Now I'm going to take my full magazine and I'm going to load it into position. And then as I'm looking at the round, I'm going to allow the action to go forward. I'm going to let it just slam. I'm not going to ride it. I'm going to let it slam forward. Observing the cartridge actually chamber. And if there's a chamber indicator, obviously, you can check that out. Now that I have a loaded firearm, let's say I just did a course of fire, or I want to unload it so I can clear the firearm without having an accidental discharge or something of that nature. Okay, let's say I need to clear this firearm again. Okay, that means I'm going to start at step 1, which is attempt to put on safe. Yes, I know you Glock owners, Canics, so on and so forth, they might not have an external safety, but get it in your mind in case you pick up a firearm that does have a safety. All right, now we're going to drop our source of feed. Set that to the side. Stow it away, whatever you got to do. Okay. Now we're going to push up on the slide lock lever, pull back on the slide, and observe the ejection and the extraction of the cartridge. We're not going to catch it. We're just going to let it go. Okay. Let it do its thing. This is especially important when you're on the range and you have live rounds. Okay. So just let it fall to the ground. Finish the clearing procedures and then recover your cartridge. And inspect the chamber, the slide face, and the magazine well. And then we're going to allow the action to go forward. Guess what's next? We're going to point in a safe direction and we're going to press the trigger. Okay. Again, this is a single action firearm. If I was going to store it away, I would have this striker in here not under spring tension when I go to store it away. If you're shooting USPSA or IDPA, if there's some kind of cold range situation, then this is how you would have it in your holster. Nothing in the magazine well, nothing in the chamber, and dry press. Yes, even if you have a double action firearm, you still do it. That is the clearing procedure. So modifications of the clearing procedure, and that is actually locking it to the rear. So pushing up on the slide lock lever and pulling the slide to the rear until it locks into place. Some people do not have the dexterity to do that. So therefore, what we can do is we can attempt to put on safe. Step 1, drop the source of feed. Step 2, Now, instead of pushing up on that slide lock lever, we're just going to pull back and hold the slide so we can see and do the 3-point safety check. So now I'm going to let it eject and extract. Okay. We're going to check the chamber, the slide face, and the magazine well, and then we're going to allow the action to go forward. That's the modification. A modification to load. Again, some people don't have the dexterity to actually hold the slide lock lever up. The modification to load is after you've done your clearance procedures. You know, you attempt to put on safe, you drop your source of feed, you clear the firearm with a 3-point safety check. After you know that it's clear, now we're going to insert the magazine and just pull back and release. One thing that I've seen people do on the range, what they like to do for whatever reason, is they like to, when they load, they like to do this. And they ride it forward. You guys see that right there? That is not in battery. It has to be in battery for it to shoot. So, instead of doing that, see that movement right there? And most guns will do this if you ride it. What I'd rather you do when you go to load, if you're going to load like this, pull back, release. That's it. That's all you got to do. Pull back, release. Let the firearm do the work it's designed to do. That is the standard to which we should hold ourselves to. For those of you who are masters and grandmasters and so on and so forth, I see you guys catching your rounds all the time. And quite frankly, I just think it's a showboat thing. You shouldn't be doing that. Be the standard for those who are watching you. Okay? You might be able to shoot your ass off. But if you have an accidental discharge because you didn't clear it correctly, or let's say there was something broken in your firearm and you could have figured that out before a match, well, why don't you just do this procedure and then that'd be good for you, okay? Then it'd also be good for everybody else. NRA doesn't have a standard procedure. As far as I know, USCCA doesn't have a standard procedure. NSSF, no one. The only standard procedure that I've ever seen is from the Special Forces community. And that is the standard. 100% that is the standard. And if you do it like that every time, you will not forget that it was loaded. Okay, so there are some people out there that think the firearm's unloaded, or at least that's what they claim, and they go to clear it or they go to clean it, and boom, and it's not any good for them ever. So do that clearing procedure there. Remember, step 1, attempt to put on safe. Step 2, you're going to remove the source of feed. Even if you know it is not there, it's free chicken. Push the damn button, push the magazine release, and go through the motion. Okay. Step 3, you're going to lock the action to the rear. If you don't have the dexterity, you're going to hold the action to the rear. Step 4, you're going to do a 3-point safety check. That is the chamber, the slide face, and the magazine well. Step 5, you're going to allow the action to go forward. You're either going to release it in whichever way you want to by pushing down on the slide lock lever or just releasing the slide. And then you're going to point in a safe direction and you're going to dry press the trigger. That completes the entire clearing process. Just do it. Trust me. Tech out.